Hello, Peter is Cecilia here. I'm very excited to have this section with you just to talk about some few things that I think is going to be helpful to you in the first semester of your graduate program, irrespective of the country that you're coming from, or even though you're a local student as well. So if this is your first time coming to my channel, do wait to hit the subscribe button so that whenever new videos are released, you'll be the first person to get notified of my new videos. So what I want to talk about today is adapting in the first semester of your graduate program. Either you're coming in for a master's program or for a PhD, and depending on where you're coming from. The first thing is, if you're coming from, let's say I'm talking about Canada now, and maybe it can also apply to the United States. So one of the first thing is going to be the weather. Depends on when you're coming in. If you're coming on in the summer semester, congratulations, it is good for you. But if you're coming in January or in September, in October, in the fall or the winter semester, where it is really cold, so you have to make sure you get all of these cold winter jackets just to make sure you're able to cope in the weather. But it's going to be a very massive change, especially let's say you're coming from Africa, where some places can be up to like 35 degrees, 37 degrees, 25 degrees, and then you're coming out meeting with of like -10, -15 degrees, is really very cold. It's really very cold. What I would usually suggest is, before you leave your home country, try to check what is the current weather in the country that you are going to. If you're going to Canada, just check the province as well. If you're going to any province in Canada, just check what is the current weather so that you know exactly how to prepare for it. So it was a shocker to me, even though I came in May. In May, it was, they were already entering summer, but it was like 4 degrees, and that is not on a normal day. That is not, like currently, that is not really cold for me. But when I came in, it was very cold. 4 degrees was very cold for me because I was coming from Nigeria, where I had about around 30 degrees. So it was very cold for me. So you want to quickly just think about that. And then another thing you want to, you're going to experience in your first semester is the cultural differences. Maybe in your country or in your state, people used to be not nice to you or very nice, and then you come to this new environment and this new province, and then all of a sudden you see that the people here there are very nice, or you can see that the people are not very nice. So you want to high level of adaptability just to quickly adjust to the culture of the environment. So that is going to be very important to quickly adjust. So get prepared for it to kind of study in that first semester how the people behave. And then another thing you're going to learn is the transportation system. So when I just came in, I wasn't, I have to learn about their bus system and how it works. I remember there was a time that I just started entering the bus. So when you try to get to the next bus stop, you need to kind of press something to signify that you're going to stop. I was thinking that the bus is going to automatically stop there, and then I didn't know, and then the bus passed where I was going to. So I had to go ask the driver, and they're like, "Oh, we've passed it. So next time, try to press, the stop button." So those are some of the things you get to know. And if you're already coming from an advanced country, where some of the bus system are really very functional and the train system is very good, congratulations. You will need to adjust a little bit, but just try to learn how the transportation system work. And now back to school. How do you adjust? What are some of the things that change? For me, one of the very striking things that I noticed was that when they say school is resuming on the 1st of May, that day everything is 100% functional. That's very different from where I was coming from. Where school resume, it takes a couple of days for things to get normalized. But here, I saw that on the very first day of classes, everything was working fine, 100%. Everybody resumed, and then classes were ongoing, and then it was a very nice thing to see. And then I had to really deal with, this new style of teaching, because it wasn't really a style that I was used to the first time I attended their classes. I kind of see the environment was a bit different from what I used to know, the kind of environment that I studied in. So it was something to really get used to over time. And then one of the things that I noticed was that even before the semester starts, or on the first day of class, the professor is going to give you like an outline of all of the courses that they are going to do in the semester. And sometimes they will have the date for each of the day that they're going to be taking class all throughout that semester. There is going to be a course that they are going to, the topic for that day is going to be stated. The day that they are going to do tests, the day for exams, the day you are going to do assignments and all quiz, everything is going to be stated on the course outline, as compared to just doing things randomly. The in some places and in some countries, some professors can just come to class and like, today's test. They hardly do that, over here, at least from my experience. You kind of get information ahead of time. And then another thing was the assignments and the quizzes. So there was a regular assignments that you really have to do, quiz. So you have to be kind of on top of your game, reading every day just to make sure you catch up with the quizzes and the assignments all the time. It was very different, but I just had to cope with it because I had no option. So you have to kind of prepare for that rapid. It's a lot of work. Let's say you are taking 2 or 3 courses, you have assignments and quiz and papers to write, so just kind of try to prepare your mind so that when these things start coming, it will not be very surprising to you. Another thing that I had to adjust to was my, I came in for master's program. The first time I came into the lab, I was seeing all these equipments and I was like, what is this used for? What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? A lot of new things. So it can look very intimidating for a start, but just relax. Whatever equipment you're going to need for your program, you are going to be trained. In fact, you will not be allowed to touch any equipment until you have been properly trained on how to use that equipment. So number one, you're going to start off by doing a lot of trainings in the lab. You do some lab safety training, women's training, and then some safety. Once you've done all of these safety, that is even when you can now start working in the lab. So get prepared. Some of them can be long, some of them they are not really very difficult. You can get them done quite shortly, but prepare to get all of these things done. And this really gets you to understand how the laboratory system work. It's really very, very important. Then another thing are now the people in your lab. You can see that maybe there is a master student, there is a PhD student, there is a postdoc, doctoral fellow in the lab. So you have to be able to relate with all of them. Very important, because especially when they are older students, so they pretty much have been in the lab for a very long time. So you want to make sure that you get to know their project, just kind of what they're doing, and then you can even start off by watching. That is the best way. That was what my professor told me. They just watch, if anybody is doing anything, just kind of, follow the person and kind of see what the person is doing. And then it's a way to get to learn. And then your professor will really start, giving you insights as to, so your professor will really start to give you insight on what are some of the things that you need to start to learn quickly. So that is really very important. And then another thing that I had to adjust with was, the supervisor student relationship. It's very different from what I used to know. So I have to get to see how this professor work. What are some of the what is the professor's expectation of his student. How does the lab operate, when are the meetings usually done. The professor would definitely tell you some of all these things in that first semester, just to get you adjusted quickly into the lab. And then another thing is now interaction with other students outside of your lab. Maybe students from other lab or students from other group as well. You can start getting to attend university activities and just seeing some students, It can look like a lot from the very start, but just relax. With time, with the first semester goes by, second semester, you should be able to get adjusted to this you're able to get adjusted to these programs, and how the university really function. And then getting to know the school culture. You'll be seeing a lot of things, like some events going on in the school. Just participate in there, and then don't be shy to say you're a new student. Everyone started up enter the university one day, so be open-minded in terms of just learning some of the cultures in the university system. So it's just about learn and learn. If you really want to get incorporated, try to be attending some of these events that are organized for fresh students. Attend all of these orientation programs. It really helps you to see the big picture. Orientation programs organized by school, your department, and then if you have any question, just ask questions. People are willing to help you, so don't leave yourself to just figure things out yourself. So if you're confused about certain things, just ask people about, how do I get this done, and I trust that they should be able to help you. So these are some of the things you should be expecting in your first semester of your graduate school, either for masters or for PhD. Just high level of adaptability is what is required, and if you can adapt to it between when the first semester goes, after the first semester, by the second semester you should have adjusted fairly quickly, and the time will come you might now grow to become the most senior person in your lab, where you pretty much have to now new students will now come into the lab, and you will now be the one showing them around some of the things and how they operate in the lab. So your time will come. So thank you very much for watching. So if you have any other comments or questions, you can leave them in the comment section. I'll try to address them whenever as soon as possible. And then if you want any other information, you can contact me personally, then I will try to answer any other question that you have. So thank you so much for watching this video. So if you've not clicked on the subscribe button, just do it to click on the subscribe button, and then so that when new videos are released, you'll be the first person to get notified. So thank you very much for watching the video. I will see you in the next video.